Hello everyone, I'm Batman, about to dances at 3 a.m. Welcome to the fourth episode of Viewer Scenario, the series where we bring your ideas and scenarios to life. This time we're tackling a scenario suggested by our awesome friend, MindMeld929. Big shout out to you buddy, wishing you all the best wherever you are. In this video we'll cover how to pick up an object, how to place it somewhere else, and once placed, a cutscene kicks in. And spoiler alert, Batman starts dancing. Also, I released my own retro horror game called Fractured Psyche. If you like spooky old school vibes, the link's in the description, you can go ahead and check it out. All the project files used and created in this video are on my GitHub, also linked below. With all that being said, let's put on the mask and begin. So right here we have three things. I want to say if I take this object, as our friend said, and place it on here, we want a cutscene to happen where Batman is like dancing. And for that is very easy. I created this cube, I'm gonna call it place cube. And this is the jerry can, this is Batman with the idle animation. So right now let's create an empty object. I'm gonna call it cutscene parts, and I'm gonna put its transform at 0 0 0, so whatever we put in it is exactly on its spot and it's not changed because of the parent of it. And yeah, this is it. I need another Batman with the dancing animation. As I said, I want the Batman to dance, so I'm just gonna right click on it and duplicate it. This time I'm gonna call it Batman dancing. And the thing we have to change on it is we have to go to its animator. We need to give it a new animator because we don't want it to be on idle. By default it has this idle, and you can put it on dancing as well with changing some stuff in the animator. But I'm gonna create a new a whole new Batman, so I'm just gonna create an animator controller. I'm gonna call it Batman dancing, and I'm gonna select my Batman dancing. I'm gonna go to its animator and I'm gonna drag and drop my Batman dancing animated controller on it. I'm gonna double click to open it up, and in here I'm gonna put the dancing animation on it. I'm gonna go to my dancing animation, I'm gonna loop it so it keeps on dancing, and I'm gonna put the Batman dancing inside cutscene parts. And when I deactivate it, the other Batman will be deactivated as well. And we also need a camera, so I'm just gonna go to Batman, I'm gonna deactivate this idle Batman, and as you see, when I deactivate the cutscene parts, it gets deactivated as well. So I'm gonna be like here. I'm gonna create a camera, I'm gonna put it like right here, and I'm gonna change its transform until it is like in front of Batman. So this is it, this is okay. So I'm just gonna say cutscene cam, and I'm gonna make it a child of the cutscene parts. So when I deactivate it, it gets deactivated, and by default it is deactivated because when I start it, we will be actually able to see the cutscene. So this is the cutscene. The cutscene happens, the Batman starts dancing. What I have in mind is I just don't want to put everything and make a video fast. I want to explain every part of it. So I'm just gonna make it more beautiful, and because of that I'm gonna create a black canvas that will happen before going into the cutscene. Let me just show you. I'm gonna create a UI canvas. I'm gonna put this canvas scale to scale with the screen size. I'm gonna put it to my screen resolution 1920 by 1080, put it at 0.5, and give it a UI panel, and I'm not gonna give it any texture. I'm gonna hold Alt and make it scale with the screen size. By default maybe it is like this. So by default it is like this. I'm gonna go to this, I'm gonna select the canvas, go to animation tab, create an animation. I'm gonna create a new folder called created anims, and I'm gonna say black panel, and that is it. With my panel selected, I'm gonna add a color for its alpha at 0. I'm gonna go to 1 second. I'm gonna make it black so it is like this, and I'm gonna make it wait for like this amount, and then I'm gonna go to like 2.20 and again put it at 0. So it is gonna be like this. And when it goes to black, we deactivate our camera and activate our cutscene. And when we want to go to our player again and deactivate the cutscene, the same thing actually happens. It comes here, it deactivates the cutscene and activates the player, and then it appears. As easy as that. I wanted to make it more beautiful, and that is the reason. And I'm gonna put it inside an empty object. I'm gonna create an empty object. I'm gonna call it black transition. Again, I'm gonna put it at 0 0 0 0. I'm gonna put my canvas under here, and by default it is deactivated. And one important thing is when you created your animation, by default it will loop. So go to your animation and uncheck this loop time. If you don't know how to go to your animation, go to your canvas tab. There would be an animator here. Just click on this, it goes to your animator, and the animation is next to the animator. As easy as that. And that was for the editor part. But before going, I'm gonna select my fuel canister because we want to interact with it. If we want to interact with it, we have to give it a box collider. So I'm just going to add component, box collider. And the bus collider is a little bit small, so interacting with it would be, you know, kind of hard. So I'm just gonna make it bigger. Click on this, and, you know, find these dots and make them bigger. That is it. And my cube actually has it by default, so I'm not gonna touch it, but we can, you know, just make it a little bit higher, like here. And with your fuel canister selected, you have to give it a tag. If you don't have a tag before, you can just come here and add tag. Click on this plus and, you know, create the fuel canister. But I actually have it from before, so I just select it. I go to this tag section and, you know, give it the canister tag section. And I'm just gonna give it the tag of placed on, for example. You can just create it. If you don't have it, you go add tag, you placed on. But I have it, I just give it this. I just don't create it again. That's everything we had to do inside the editor part. So with the editor part done, we're gonna go ahead and create a script. So right click, create a new folder. First, I'm gonna call it scripts. Inside it, I'm gonna create a new C# script. I'm gonna call it camp interact vs viewer scenario for, yeah, that would be okay. That would be cool naming. You can name it whatever you want. I'm gonna name it this because I don't, you know, I confuse it with other videos. Yeah, create it. Double click to open it up. Inside it, we're gonna be creating a simple, you know, interaction system that I've been creating in all my videos nearly. And for that, we need an interaction text to appear. For example, right here, if I show you, it would be like here. When you look at, you know, for example, fuel canister, it's gonna say take it, for example. And yeah, for that to happen, you're gonna add this using Unity engine.ui. Because I'm gonna ask for a UI file, which is a text file in here. First thing first, let's game object actual Batman public game object player. It is us and Batman. Then we need a public game object, which is cutscene parts, which we can activate, deactivate these two, then activate this. And then we need another public text file, as I said, for the interaction text. We need a private boolean for can interact to check if we can interact or not. By default, we can interact. And one thing I forgot is public game object black transition. Yeah, we shouldn't forget that. And yeah, that is it. Like lots of videos I created on the interaction system. First, we check if we can interact or not. So can interact equal to true. If we can actually interact, we go ahead and interact. And in the interaction system, it's gonna shoot an invisible thing called ray. I'm gonna call it ray, which is equal to camera.main.viewport to point to ray, which is equal to new vector 3 0.5f 0.5f and 0, which is gonna shoot an invisible ray in the direction we're watching. For example, if you're looking forward, the ray is gonna be shot forward and it's gonna actually hit something, for example Batman or fuel canister or anything, which is called raycast hit. We're gonna call it hit. And in here we're gonna check if it actually hits something. So if physics.raycast, we give it the ray and out hit, and we actually give it a distance. For example, I'm gonna say anything in the distance of 5 can be, you know, interacted with, and that is how you write it. Inside it, we're gonna check if the thing we hit was actually a fuel canister or, you know, the thing that we can place on. So we're just gonna say if hit the thing we hit dot collider dot compare tag, go to its tag. If it actually has a tag of canister, the tag we created, let me just show you. So this is my jerry can. As you see in this tag section, we give it the canister. Be careful, the capital and the small versions of the letter matter. So it exactly should be the same thing as the tag you created. If we actually hit a canister, we do something. Else if we actually hit that collider, that compare tag, if we actually hit anything that we can, you know, place the canister on, which actually had a tag of placed on, if we actually hit that, we go ahead and do a function. Else, if we actually hit anything other than the things said above, we do something else. So that was for the very simple interaction system. Now what we want to do is, I want to, you know, first create the interaction text. So if we hit the canister, our interaction text would say take fuel canister, and we can copy it and paste it inside here. If we actually hit the thing we can place on, we're going to say place the fuel canister, for example. And if we actually hit anything other than these two, we don't want our interaction text to say anything. And to fix the bug, if we, for example, look at the sky and we look at nothing else, we again gonna, you know, mtr interaction text to prevent some bugs from happening. We can go ahead and create the function. I'm gonna create the cutscene function, looking at the player and activating and deactivating inside an enumerator, because I want to wait for some time between doing each stuff. And because of that, I'm actually using something called a core routine, which you'll actually see in the upcoming minutes, no worries. So I'm just gonna say enumerator, I'm gonna call it start cutscene, CO, which stands for core routine. I'm gonna put it down here, and when I say if I press E and I'm looking at the fuel canister, I want to take the fuel canister, and if I press E and I place the fuel canister on the object, I want it to be placed first, then I want the cutscene to happen. So for that I forgot to do some stuff. Don't look at the error, it will be fixed, no worries. We take the fuel canister. When we take it, we just deactivate the game object, and when we place it, we just duplicate this, and I'm gonna put it on here. I'm gonna take its tag because it doesn't need a tag, it's not interactable, and I'm gonna take its box collider. And by default, this one is deactivated, and when we take it and interact with this one will be activated on here. So by default it's deactivated. I'm just gonna call it fake canister, and this one is the real canister, and that is it. So that's what I wanted to create. So up here we want to create a public game object, real canister, and another public game object, fake canister. By default, the real canister is activated and fake canister is deactivated. So when we look at the real canister, we say if we press, for example, E, if input.get key down keycode.e. If we press E and we look at the fuel canister, we go ahead and take it. So we're just gonna say real canister.setActive false, which would actually look like we took the fuel canister. So how to check if we actually have the fuel canister? We need to create a new private boolean. We can say have canister, which is equal to false by default because we don't have it at the start of the game. And when we take it, we just say have canister equal to true. So now we have it in our inventory system. It is a very simple inventory system, and when we interact with the placed on, we're gonna check if we so right here, if we interact with the fuel canister and we don't have it in our hands, we're just gonna say and have canister is equal to false. So in a condition, if we actually look at anything with a tag of canister, and if we don't have the canister in our inventory system, we can go ahead and do these stuff. And the same thing applies in here, but in here we're just gonna say if we actually hit the placed on the cube and we actually have this canister in our inventory system, we can go ahead and place it on the cube and run the cutscene. For that to happen, we're just gonna say and have canister true. If we don't have it in our inventory system, it is not logical to put it on the cube. With that done, we're just gonna say if again input.get key down keycode.e. If you look at the place on and we have the fuel canister and we press the E, we go ahead and run this function. So to run this enumerator, we're just gonna say start core routine. We just give it the start cutscene CO. And that's how you call an enumerator. So at the start of running the function, we're just gonna say can interact equal to false, because we no longer can interact with any objects until the cutscene is finished. And then we remove our interaction text, make it empty to prevent the bug, and we're gonna kind of do that in here as well. So interaction text, that text equal to empty. So we empty our interaction text, then we activate our black transition. So black transition that's set active true. So as you see in our black transition, in its animation, you see when it goes to 1 second, it is completely black. So as you see, let me just show you here. By the time we're on 1 second, everything is black. So we're just gonna wait for 1 second, then we're gonna reset everything. So yield return new, wait for seconds, wait for 1 second, activate our cutscene parts, let's set active true. We deactivate our player, false, and then we for example, like what else did we create? Actual Batman, we deactivate the actual Batman, so the dancing Batman is actually shown. And when the black transition is gone, which it will be gone like at 220, like here, so minus that value, we'll return new with 1 second, which would be like 1/2 seconds. So after this seconds, we're just gonna deactivate our black transition, that's set active false. So we can activate it again after a while, after showing the cutscene. So the cutscene could be like I want the cutscene to be 10 seconds. So to make it 10 seconds, we're just gonna put 8.8 here, because plus this thing up here, it would be just like, 10 seconds. And after that, yeah, that is it. We just activate everything and we just black transition, that's set active, true again. We wait for 1 second again, as you see up here. We wait for 1 second and then we say player, that's set active, true. Actual Batman, that's set active, true. Cutscene parts, that's set active, false. And again, we wait for yield return new, wait for 1.2f seconds, then we deactivate our black transition to use it again. So in here everything will reset. In here we can say can interact, true. We're gonna go to our camera. I'm just gonna give it this can interact vs4 script. So it needs actual Batman, which is like Batman idol. It needs the player. So the bug I encountered is kind of funny, which I'll actually show you in here and then fix it. So you guys actually know it needs the player. I give it the player. It needs the cutscene parts, which I'll give. It needs the interaction text, which again I'll give. Black transition is this one, which is deactivated by default, deactivated. It needs the real canister and the fake canister. So let me just show you what I mean. So it says take fuel canister, we take it, we place it here. It starts doing this. What I wanted to say is after like 10 seconds, it will not, continue doing what we told it to do. And the reason for it is because we actually have this script on our camera, which is exactly, a child of our player. So when we deactivate the player, anything until this player dot here will be, activated. So this will be, done. But anything other than, these things won't happen because the script actually gets deactivated. So to fix that, we can do one simple thing. We're gonna create a new script. I'm gonna call it cutscene vs4. Double click to open it up. What we created here can be done also here. So we need a reference to our cutscene vs4 in our cam interact. So I'm just gonna say public cutscene vs4. I'm just gonna say cutscene. I'm just gonna call it cutscene script. When we do this, we just call this function from this cutscene vs4. So I'm gonna do everything related to the cutscene inside here. So anything we created here, we don't need right now. We're gonna do it inside this cutscene vs4. So when we press E and when we look at the fuel canister, we just can interact. We make can interact equal to false, and we make interaction text equal to empty. And then we go ahead and run this function in here. So we don't need void start and void update in here. We can remove it. We need a public void, and the reason I made it public and I'm using void is because I want to call it from cam interact vs4, and I'm gonna call it start cutscene void instead of co. And inside here, I'm just gonna call this IEnumerator. So IEnumerator, you can just copy the IEnumerator we created here. So Control C, Control V here. Anything it needs is here. So can interact and interaction text are not needed right now. We can deactivate it. So we need a reference to black transition. So public game object, black transition. We need a reference to public game object cutscene parts. So cutscene parts. We need a reference to player. So public game object player, as you see. Each thing I create, which won't be read anymore. So I'm just gonna say public game object actual Batman, and yeah, we don't have the can interact in here. So that's every reference we need for our cutscene vs4. So we can just remove this IEnumerator from here because we no longer run it from here. And when we press E, we delete this and we just say cutscene script, the reference we created up here for this script, dot start cutscene void. So from this script, you actually run this public void, and what this public void actually runs is this IEnumerator. So we're just gonna say start coroutine, and I'm just gonna run start cutscene CO. So what I did right here was, to fix that, bug that we just saw, I just, instead of, running the function in here, I just referenced the function to another script that we can run and, do some stuff. And 10 seconds is like a lot. We just put it on 6 maybe seconds or 7 seconds or 8 seconds, I'm not sure. And yeah, that is it. That's how to fix the bug. It's pretty easy to do. And after the function is done and we, activate the player, we also have to, make can interact equal to true. So for that, we need another reference to our cam interact inside the script. So we're just gonna say public cam interact vs4, and yeah, I'm just gonna say cam interact script. I'm just gonna call it this. And down here, when we activate our player again, we're just gonna say cam interact script dot. As you see, we cannot access can interact in here because we didn't make it public. So we're just gonna go to our can interact script, make it public boolean can interact, and yeah, inside here we can say can interact equal to true again. And yeah, that's everything we need to do. We're just gonna create a new empty object. I'm just gonna say cutscene controller. Don't make it a child of anything. It shouldn't be a child of the FPS controller. Just put it here. I'm just gonna give it the cutscene vs4 code. It is the black transition, which I'll give the cutscene parts, which is this, the player, which is the FPS controller, actual Batman idle, and cam interact script. We can click on the circle to find the object, or just drag and drop your camera in here. And again, I'm gonna go to my camera. We need a reference to our cutscene S script, so I'm just gonna drag and drop it here for that function to happen. And yeah, that is it. We can go ahead and check it out. So as you see, we go to this fuel canister, we press E, we take it, we press it here. As you see, it is running the cutscene. After the cutscene's done, which would actually take 6 seconds or 7 seconds, it activates our thing in here. And you can just do it again, which will go to your cutscene. And you can just, to make it more realistic, you can just activate the fake canister as well. So up here you can just say, because I don't want to do it inside this cutscene, I just do it here. We're just gonna say fake canister, that's set active true, to make it more realistic. And if you don't want to interact with this place on twice, you can just make this one false. So have canister equal to false, because we no longer have it. We place it on the place on, and we can only interact with this place on once and be done with everything. So let's see, just show you. We take the fuel canister, we place it here, he starts dancing, and after the cutscene everything is finished and we can no longer place the fuel canister on it. And everything is done now. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Thank you, my friend, for suggesting this video, and I hope this video actually helps you with your game. I'm so thankful for all your support. You guys are amazing. If you enjoyed this video, a like would be amazing. You can subscribe to see more contents like this. You can tell me anything in the comment section below, maybe a suggestion or scenario. I would be very happy to answer it, and if I can, I would cover it. Hope all the very best for you. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.